Governor Romney, it's good of you to be with us today. Thank you very much. I want to begin with a very fundamental question that is about both our obligations to human life and also the constitutional powers of the respected levels and branches of government. I want to begin by recalling Lincoln's situation. In his first inaugural address, he confronts the decision of the Supreme Court in the Dred Scott case about slavery, in which the court usurped the authority of the elected representatives of the people, the president and the Congress, and acted in a way that essentially removed an entire class of human beings, even free blacks, from the law's protection, from having any rights that others should have to recognize. And Lincoln said on that occasion that if the policy of the government on vital questions affecting the whole people is to be irrevocably fixed by decisions of the Supreme Court, the people will have ceased to be their own rulers, having to that extent practically resigned their government into the hands of that eminent tribunal. Of course, after Lincoln's death, we enacted a 14th Amendment to our Constitution, a 13th, 14th, and 15th. And I want to ask you about the 14th. Many people today say that we need to wait for Roe versus Wade to be reversed before Congress can do anything about protecting life in the womb. However, Section 5 of the 14th Amendment expressly authorizes the Congress, by appropriate legislation, to enforce the guarantees of due process and equal protection contained in the amendment's first section. Now, as someone who believes in the inherent and equal dignity of all members of the human family, including the child in the womb, would you as president propose to Congress appropriate legislation pursuant to the 14th Amendment to protect human life in all stages and conditions?
Let me tell you, Robbie, what my orientation would be, which is I would like to appoint to the Supreme Court justices who believe in following the Constitution as opposed to legislating from the bench. I would like to see that Supreme Court return to the states the responsibility for determining laws relating to abortion, as opposed to having the federal Supreme Court from the bench tell America and all the states how they have to do it. I think that's the appropriate course. Now, is there a constitutional path to have the Congress say, we're going to push aside the decision of the Supreme Court, and we instead are going to step forward and return to the states this power, or put in place our own views on abortion? That would create, obviously, a constitutional crisis. Could that happen in this country? Could there be circumstances where that might occur? I think it's reasonable that something of that nature might happen someday. That's not something I would precipitate. What I would look to do would be to appoint people to the Supreme Court that will follow strictly the Constitution as opposed to legislating from the bench. I believe that we must be a nation of laws.
The former Massachusetts Governor Mitt Romney there answering a question about his views on abortion rights and where the power in the federal government lies to regulate abortion rights. Let's get right back to our special live coverage of Republican Presidential Forum here in Columbia, South Carolina. The former Massachusetts Governor Mitt Romney taking questions.
We have to allow people to practice their faith, and when they have a matter of conscience that they can't participate in some form of activity which violates their faith, then they should be able to abide by their faith, and particularly when that's the case, when there are plenty of other opportunities for people to have a service provided.
Thank you.